Hey everybody, it's me Edward Jones back with a new video. LA is on fire again. um, I've been taking some taking some time watching the riot footage. As I've said in previous videos, I I don't like riots, but I think they're very interesting to observe because I'm always interested to see how order will be reestablished. Whether it be by the cops, by the military, or by just by local citizens, like Kyle Rittenhouse, for example. um, so it's like watching all this unfold. It's bizarre. People don't want to call it. There are people who don't want to call it an invasion, but you know they are. They're, there's the waving. There's tearing up the infrastructure. Breaking up concrete and using them as projectiles. It's constant waving of the Mexican flag. Um, then now there's the looting and the arson. I think the arson kind of started before the looting, and it's crazy to watch the media try to play it off like they tried to do in 2020. That's where the mostly peaceful protest comes from. And it's like they're trying to they call it was it an occasion of exuberance, something like that. I think that was said by Nancy Pelosi. Just watching the media, and again, I said before, I'm glad they're losing their credibility because it's well deserved. Trying to lie to the public about what's going on when, as if camera phones don't exist. Um, you see everything that's going on, and this stuff is happening, and not just in L.A., but it's also happening in Chicago. It's happening in New York. It's happening in Seattle, which is also not a surprise. I saw a video where there's protesting in Georgia, and all this is going on because of the ICE raids. I'm thankful that the ICE raids are actually going on, and I actually hope to see more people come out to protect their businesses, protect their neighborhoods, not because of the ICE raids, but because of the rioters. In fact, when Trump sent the Marines, he sent 700 Marines to LA. Well, one question I was asking myself is, I wonder if they're gonna have shotguns because just again, it's like I can't stand seeing. You know, there was a video. It was a video of a store getting looted, and the security guard that's behind his desk he just looks defeated. And like people getting attacked. I haven't heard of any deaths yet, but like just seeing all the chaos. All I'm asking is I wonder how orders going to get restored. I will say this is one of the many occasions where I'm thankful I live in a red state. um, Not to say that kind of stuff hasn't happened in South Carolina, let alone Columbia. I drove through it in 2020 when I saw a cop car on fire. Um, but a lot of that, but a lot of that stuff it stayed in a very small area, it stayed local, and so I'm thankful that kind of stuff. It's not a major thing where I live. But it's very interesting to watch it happen. And this reminded me of all the footage I saw the LA riots from 1992, and then I remember of footage of the Watts riots. I think it was 1966, 1968, something like that. But yeah, like I said, riots are very interesting to me. Um, that could lend to some reason why I like riot shotguns. um, but like I said, I was wanting to see how Trump's going to handle it. I think he's handling the situation appropriately. Um, enough what It's easy to say that enough wasn't done in 2020 because there's the perception that he was going to be painted as as a fascist. But still the blame got he got blamed for how bad things went. And so now since he's now for re-election, he's doing what he needs to do right now to reestablish order, and that's a good thing. It's interesting to see how Karen Bass and um, Gavin Newsom, how they're basically trying to ignore the reality of the situation of why this is going on, even saying that they're confident that the rioting will stop when the ICE raids will stop. And I'm thinking, well, the ICE raids are just they're they're extra they're protecting the border. There is a response to a weak border, and they're enforcing a federal law. You just like they're trying to hold everybody hostage with these riots by saying that if you only stop enforcing this law, then the riots will stop. And then if that's the case, I say United States to call their bluff. They want to add more fuel to the fire. Be my guess. But the raids they have to continue. This weakening of the country through retarded border policy has come to its end, and I'm happy to see that. I'm happy to see this is it's being taken care of. Um, so like I said before, I'm gonna keep watching the footage. I'm gonna keep watching to see how things unfold. It's very, like I said, it's very interesting to me. I remember how things were in 2020, just watching all the footage. But what I am curious about is whether how if these riots continue to grow, will again I mentioned his name before. Will we see another Rittenhouse situation? Um, I'm curious. I guess I'm just curious to see if it will happen. Not that I don't want people getting killed, but I will say that the chaos has to be brought to heel. Um, and there can be no pussyfooting around with what's going on. It's crazy. Like people. And one interesting thing I saw happening was they set up these electric cars being set on fire. And the reason why I think the reason why they were targeted is because the fire department can't immediately put them out because of the batteries. If they try to use water to put those electric car fires out, the batteries will explode. So it's like they pick things. It's like they're wised up as to what cars to set on fire. Um, uh, I guess it's a very interesting situation. I can't wait to see how it pans out. Hopefully the best outcome will occur. But those are my thoughts. Tell me what you think. If you live in LA, you live in California, and you're seeing things, leave a comment in the comment section. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you want to help out with the channel, go to my YouTube homepage, look for the PayPal link or the Cash App link. All donation amounts are appreciated. Any gripes, complaints, send me a PM. I'll see whether to address them. That's my video. LA's on fire again. I'm Edward Jones. You guys take care, be safe, stay strapped, and God bless.